with Mark Davis, Kriska Meinhardt, Luke Rule, Jake Winnikine, Alan Tomasella, and Nick the Doc Skirkman. Hello, guys. This is All About the Balls podcast. I'm Mark Davis. It is 9/11 on a beautiful Wednesday night. And this is the NFL Week 2 preview episode. Luke Rule and Nick the Doc Skirkwins are live with me tonight. And boys, it's a special night, obviously, special day. 23 years ago, 9/11 happened, obviously, Washington, D.C., New York City, and Pennsylvania. So just, want to say to all the families that were affected, people that are still affected, PTSD can be a real thing. Just want to say shout out to them. Hopefully everyone is doing better 23 years later. Luke, Doc, want to thank you guys for your service. You guys joined before I did. And thanks for keeping us safe, or attempting to keep us safe and all around the world, man. So just want to say that to start off the show.
Yeah, never forget. I got my stairs in today. Not quite 110 floors, but I got pretty close to it. So I had to knock some stairs out today when one of the Stairmasters opened up.
Yeah, 110 stairs is a lot. I will say that. But
110 flights.
Yeah, 110 flights. No, but 23 years later, we're doing a lot better. I think we're not living in fear anymore. The years following it, we're doing a lot better as a country. But speaking of the country, this is a football country, right? This is the most popular sport in the United States of America. The NFL, college football as well. I don't know if we're going to talk much about it because this weekend, not too many good games. But Luke, your Baltimore Ravens did fall last Thursday. But hey, they have a bounce back game against the Raiders. How are you feeling heading into heading to Sunday of week 2 of the season?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Home opener in Baltimore, going against the Raiders. Raiders are a tough defense, but I think our defense can stop their offense pretty well as long as we can figure Devontae Adams out. And Minshew has had the Ravens defense number before, so
last year.
Yeah, he did, and he caught us sleeping one week. So I don't think we'll be sleeping on them this week though. Plus, they got to fly across the country for a noon kickoff or 1 o'clock kickoff in Baltimore.
I do feel bad for the Raiders. Doc, your Chicago Bears, they are 1-0, led by that defense, special teams, and you guys are on Sunday Night Football against Houston Texans. How are you feeling heading into this beautiful weekend of NFL action?
Oh, dude, we are feeling good in the city of Chicago, ready to get humbled after last week. We will be 1-1 at the conclusion of Sunday's game, but we expected this. I know I picked the Bears last week on the show, but going into the season, I had the Titans winning week 1, as a Caleb Williams first game, which really turned out the way that I predicted. The defense just played far better than I could have ever expected. Quite frankly, I think it's more warning signs for Will Levis than it is for Caleb Williams after Williams' debut. But, gotta be realist here. The Texans are easy favorites in this one. So,
should be.
My money's on Houston.
And Doc, the next night, Monday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons, my team, will be playing the Philadelphia Eagles in the city of brotherly love. It's a tough place to play. I told Jake last night, I don't care what team you are. I don't care if you're the Chiefs, the Niners, the Lions. Playing a night game in Philly is a tough time.
It's a different atmosphere.
Crowd. Yeah, it is a different atmosphere. And I am nervous. I hope, Jake, like you said, Thuggins, I hope that the week 1 was a kind of a get-right game, not playing, about 10 months, 9 months, whatever the time frame was. And hopefully we do go in this game and take care of business, because we can't afford to be 0-2 going to host Kansas City next week. Last week I thought was a must-win. This game is a extra must-win game, because 0-2, potentially going 0-3, like I said, that's just a lot of ripple effect going into divisional 2 weekends in a row against the Bucs and the Saints, or the Saints and then the Bucs. But
it begs the question. It begs the question. Is, with the addition of Kirk Cousins, is this an offense that's ready to contend, ready to go to the next level? And there were a lot of question marks last week. I don't know, man. I'm Bijan, obviously, second best back in the game, in my opinion, ceiling wise. But
you think he's already? You think second best running back already?
For what the offense does and the scheme that they have there, when you're talking what the guy can do from himself and from a fantasy standpoint, yeah, he can absolutely be the second best running back in the league this year.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But, boys, we are going to start off with Thursday night's game. This is going to be a preview episode. It's like me and Doc, and we came up with the collaboration of, hey, we're going to talk football, just like storylines, big games, for about 40 to 45 minutes. I don't think we're going to talk to college tonight. We might go a little longer on that. And then we are going to go with predictions. I have Chris's, Jake's. I mean, I even have yours, Luke, but you're going to read yours off anyways. And we'll give our predictions money line and against the spread. But let's start off with Thursday night football, right? Josh Allen, Tua in South Beach. Josh Allen has been historically a Dolphins killer, coming off an exciting win against the Arizona Cardinals. The Dolphins, a comeback win against the Jaguars. Guys, what must Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills be able to do to stop the Miami Dolphins in South Beach Thursday night?
I think they just got to come out and play their game. Do what you did last week. Don't come out and try to be the Josh Allen that does too much. Don't try to force stuff. You know, you've got receivers. You've got an incredible tight end duo. The running back, you know, the running game is there. The defense, you know, that's the real one, which Buffalo defense is going to show up. But I think that, you know, it's going to be a shootout either which way. I think it's going to be a high-scoring, explosive offensive game. But Josh Allen just got to come out and play the Josh Allen that we see like usually 13, 14 weeks of the year and not be on one of those 3 weeks that, you know, is 1 touchdown, 4 picks, fumbles, just can't seem to find, you know, sand if he fell off his camel.
Yeah, then I think Miami's got to figure out the run game for this week. Looks like both A-Chain and Mostert might be out this week. So, I mean, they got to rely on their backups. I know they still got a couple speedsters in the backups for both Jalen Wright and who else do they have?
Though they have Jeff Wilson, A-Chain, and Raheem Mostert are the 4.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like A-Chain Luke might be playing. It looks like Mostert's the guy that might be potentially out. Like A-Chain did practice.
So,
and then Tyreek Hill
I think he was limping around though.
Yeah, he's not healthy. Yeah, he's not healthy for sure. Yeah, I agree with you there, Luke.
So,
and then is Tyreek Hill going to be distracted coming into this game, or is he going to use this to fuel himself and put up numbers? You know,
no, he didn't seem too distracted. He didn't seem too distracted last week, anyways, during the game.
Yeah, he looked just fine. I mean, I think the key, boys, is Josh Allen. He's 10-2 against the Miami Dolphins in his career. I mean, he's 10-2. He's beaten them 4 straight times.
Yeah, I think it's up to Josh Allen not to beat himself, pretty much.
Yeah, just like I said, he's got to come out and play his game and don't try to overdo it.
And I'm not going to lie. Me and Jake talked about last night. The Dolphins' offense needs to get going too. Yeah, they kind of got going in the second half a little bit, but that offense was kind of quiet for a good portion of the game against the Jaguars. I mean, are we sold on the Jaguars' defense? Or was it just kind of week 1? A lot of starters didn't play in the preseason. That's what a lot of people were saying, like, why these offensive numbers go down week 1. A lot of guys don't play week 1. I mean, I think that's another thing to talk about too.
We talked about week 1 last year, how pretty much all the football was pretty sloppy last year. I mean, the games didn't seem as sloppy, but it looked like the defenses definitely had the upper hand on the offenses.
I agree.
This week 1.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and that's why it's hard to chalk up. You know, we talked about it, Mark, you and I offline. It's hard to chalk up week 1 for anything, even Joe Burrow's abysmal, you know, performance. But unfortunately, he was just one of many. You know, he was one of many that completely underperformed. And I think last week we saw like running numbers like we won't see for the rest of the year. We might see a little bit into week 2, but I mean, it's going to start opening up the passing game and it's going to start becoming a high flying offense for the NFL again. So don't expect the run production that you got last week.
Speaking of running, I mean, like Josh Allen did last week, Josh Allen's going to have to run this week and every week. Hopefully his hand holds up. I know they taped it last week. I mean, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 2 throwing touchdowns, and it was great. Doc, I know you didn't talk much during the 1 p.m. games, but when they were hammering Josh Allen. Luke was, Jake was. They're sitting there like, this Bills team is going to lose.
He had his typical Josh Allen interception. He had his typical interception.
He had one fumble.
Oh, he had a fumble.
Same thing.
So, he's going to have Josh Allen. You
can count on fumbles.
Hey, something a lot of quarterbacks had this week.
More so Josh Allen, though.
I mean, but
has most turnovers out of any quarterback.
Yeah, well, I was talking strictly fumbles. Interceptions, yes. Josh Allen is the new Jameis Winston of interceptions.
Oh, he's Jameis Winston that can run the ball.
He's really only had 2 big years.
And Jameis Winston was skilled.
Since he came in 2018, he's only really had, I think, 2 big years in interceptions. Yeah, they accumulate over the years, but he also accounts for most of the touchdowns by quarterback too every year. So he's getting you the touchdowns as well.
He's like the Jameis Winston in 2019, where
I'd say he's a little more than Jameis Winston because I trust Josh Allen to actually win me a game, to get me in the playoffs, to get me deep in the playoffs for his career.
Last year was really his only bad year, I would say, by definition. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's only had 1 year sub 10 interceptions. That's you're averaging, you had 12, 10, 15, 14, 18 last year. I mean, you've got to have better. You got to at least steady stay.
Mahomes had 14, 15 last year. I think actually Mahomes had 16 last year, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he was up there. I knew Mahomes, but I'm just saying, like,
Mahomes averaging.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm not gonna like always like if the turnovers don't accumulate to like if the turnovers are costing you the game, like where you're not making the playoffs, you're not winning big games, then sure. In the playoffs, Josh Allen has shown up even in the losses. It's not like the 12 or was it 13 seconds, 12 seconds, whatever it was against the Chiefs. That wasn't on Josh Allen. I mean, that was a back and forth game. I would say the Bengals game was on him, but last year's playoff game against the Chiefs, he had 2 big drops from Shakir and Stephon Diggs, deep balls that were in their hands. I mean, I don't kill him as much. Yeah, it sucks on some of his interceptions, but he wins you more games and he loses you games. And that's why I compare him, not saying he's Brett Favre, but the same philosophy that he plays. I'm just going to fucking take chances. I'm going to throw a lot of touchdowns, but I'm also going to throw a lot of interceptions. I'm going to win you more games, though. And he does that against the Miami Dolphins. So back to that game. I think that Josh Allen can. I hate that I'm going to probably pick against him because I've been back and forth since I saw this game on Monday. I don't know who to pick, and I hate picking against Josh Allen. I really do. I'm a Josh Allen fanboy.
He's a guy that can single-handedly turn this game in the right direction for Buffalo.
And Tua Luke needs to get going too. Like I understand he led the league in passing week 1, but he's got to be a little better with these deep throws. He's what he's got, but he's got to be more confident early on and carry that through the whole game, not just the last 2 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 quarters could have been just like him getting ready, getting back in the field of it. So
he played preseason.
Yeah, still, that doesn't mean anything. He played against backups, or they played a vanilla offense. Like they're not showing what they show like week 1 on film in preseason. Yeah, so everybody plays vanilla defense, vanilla offense. So it doesn't even make sense for the players to really even play. I mean, it makes sense to do the joint practices, but playing preseason is not really getting you in the game feel too much. I don't think it's worth it for most players.
Even still, I mean, 23 of 37, 338 yards, impressive. Only 1 touchdown. I mean, like you said, the confidence got to be there. He's got to make the short plays that matter. He's got to be able to move the chains. You can't rely on an 80-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill every week. You've got to be able to move the chains in the moments where it matters and make those plays that keep the offense going.
He did actually overthrow Tyreek a couple of times last week, though. So that's a first. Very rare to see. Very rare to see. To overthrow Tyreek.
The new overthrow king of the year so far is Caleb Williams, though. That dude overthrew
he had some bad ones.
Deep routes.
Well, let's talk about the game. That's good transition. The Bears, Luke and Doc versus the Texans. Obviously, the key, in my opinion, the key storylines is the Bears offense versus the Texans defense. That Texas defense didn't look that good against the Colts. That Bears offense didn't look good against the Titans. So which of these teams, and I'm looking more at the Bears offense, which of these 2 units is going to step up this week on Sunday Night Football?
Well, here's the thing with the Bears, and the defense for the Texans is something that I've been hitting on now for quite some time. I told you, there were a lot of shootouts last year, a lot of variables in that Texans defense that could have cost a lot of games, that could have made this, a better looking Texans team. The matchup for me more is the Bears defense and the Texans offense, and which one is going to outperform, because really, in my mind, if the Bears offense shows up, this is a game over. I mean, this has potential to be a blowout if Caleb Williams can figure out how to throw a football, because this Bears defense is enough to keep CJ Stroud and the Texans at bay, but not enough to silence them to where they can win it like they did last week. Like, there will have to be offense in this game. DeAndre Swift has to get utilized in this offense. They've got to find a way to pound the ball up the field, to hit the open man on the pass. Yeah, they've got to hit the open man on the pass. This is – if the Bears offense shows up, this will be a win for the Bears because the defense will do enough.
I did say Luke and Doc last night that I told Jake, I was like, I know people are hammering Caleb Williams, and I get it, he's a rookie quarterback and whatnot, but Luke, DeAndre Swift only averaged 3 yards a carry, 10 attempts for 30 yards. That's not helping your rookie quarterback out and whatsoever. I mean, like that's the problem there too. It's not just Caleb on week 1. Keenan Allen dropped a touchdown in the end zone too.
Yeah, I mean, I for the offense, I think it's a pretty much team loss. I think it was probably a little humbling for Caleb Williams' his first game. I mean, he's used to going everywhere and winning and being the best player on the field. And I think kind of way to call it, he's not at that level just yet, which he could be. I mean, he had open receivers. He just missed them. So, but I mean, lucky enough, the defense showed up and got him the win. But I think he understands that too, that's not how it's going to happen every week in the NFL. Like, the offense is going to have to show up, especially this week. I mean, I think the real game is going to be the Bears offense versus the Texans defense. If the Bears offense can get going, the Bears could pull this game off and upset Houston. Because I mean, Houston, yeah, they're CJ Stroud's going to get his on the Bears defense, and the Bears defense is going to get theirs back. So I mean, they're going to score some points on the Bears defense, but it's all to see if the Bears offense can keep up with it.
And that's the thing, that the Bears offense doesn't even have to keep up because that defense is going to change, the pace of the game. The offense doesn't have to be a top tier offense. They just have to do enough to continue to put points on the board, move the ball while the defense is holding them back. The defense, I think, will be able to hold them back enough to allow the offense to be, I don't want to say mediocre, but not great.
Probably need a couple touchdowns this week.
Well, I think the offense is going to that's the key. He's all these rookie quarterbacks, but speaking of this game, like you just need to see Caleb grow with the offense. The offense needs to grow. It's week by week. You can't go out there and expect week 1. All right, Caleb, go throw for 3. I mean, I expected 4,000 yards for the first time in Bears history, but I didn't, I'm not saying go throw 400 yards week 1 against the Titans defense. By the way, the Titans defense was actually supposed to be better. They went and got Snead. They went and got Ernest Jones from the Rams. So maybe the Titans defense actually is good. Yeah, I get it. Caleb missed some throws, but Doc, I want to hit what you were saying. And Chris, thank you for the update with Shannon Sharpe. It's so glad he took up ownership to his actions before or this morning, it sounded like. And of course, Ocho's going to give him the business. Shannon Sharpe would have done the same thing if the roles were reversed. But Doc, I mean, like you mentioned, the Texans offense versus the Bears defense. I understand, like we got to kind of see the Texans offense against the Colts last week, but it's prime time. So there's no other games to watch on your quad box. You've got YouTube TV, or if you're watching Red Zone strictly, you're going to see the trio of Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs versus a stellar defense in the Bears. So this is a key storyline. And Tank Dell didn't have a big game last week. It was Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs. So it's going to be interesting to see Joe Mixon, though, big game, what happens this week.
And that's why it can go the Bears' way, because you have the same caliber offense minus, the quarterback skill of CJ Stroud. And I'm not putting any doubt on CJ Stroud. I think he's going to be a great quarterback, but this is his second year. This is where you've got to see that consistency. He matches, that output that he did from last year to know that this is for real. I know a lot of the same stuff was being said with Patrick Mahomes after year 1. And Patrick Mahomes did on a much grander scale with 50 touchdowns and winning MVP in his rookie year, or second year rather. But this is where we talked about, the Bears can match that offense 100%. They just need a couple of scores. Defense keeps them in it, and the Bears can pull this off. All you need is Caleb Williams to come out and be able to make the easy plays, the wide open guys. Keenan Allen will hold on to the football when he's got a wide open touchdown. Those are the kind of plays that are going to make or break this Bears offense and this Bears game. If they can hit DJ Moore, Rome Odunze,
Well, that's what I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask you guys. Luke, too, you can chime on this one. Do you think the Rome Odunze knee injury looks like he's not practicing? Do you think if he's not out there, suit up, is that a big loss? I mean, does that open out Cole Kmet up a little bit where he had a quiet game last week? Does that open the door for Keenan Allen? Maybe, he starts to put the team back on his back like he used to do with the Chargers.
I mean, they got so many skilled players on the Bears offense. I don't think him sitting out this week's a huge loss. Like, yeah, obviously it's going to hurt the offense a little bit, but it's not a huge loss. It's not like he was very involved in the offense last week anyways. So it's not like a huge loss to the team.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 3, so.
Yeah, and maybe that does open the door for Cole Kmet this week. I mean, like I said, rookies' best friends are typically a tight end. I mean, quarterback's best friends usually because it's a safe check down. Safe guys out there, unless you're the Ravens where you got fucking 2 tight ends. And the check down guy, which we're going to talk about, he wasn't used as much. It was Isaiah Likely. So, I mean, but you guys do have Gerald Everett and Cole Kmet. I thought that was a good duo at tight end. I know.
And Gerald Everett's a great pass catching tight end.
Yeah, he is.
But that's the thing is, you mentioned it perfectly that the check down is, a rookie quarterback's best friend. But are we going to see that? Are we going to see Caleb Williams take the safe route when he needs to? Are we going to see him try to stretch the field in situations where he shouldn't be? I mean, I've never seen – maybe I'm misremembering something, but I've never seen a rookie quarterback go deep that many times and miss as bad as he did and continue to try it. And I don't know if that's on him or the play calling, because I know the play calling comes out and, he tries to go for the open man. But if you can't hit it, you got to stop doing it. You got to start getting the ball, and this is going to be the theme. You got to start making the plays that are going to move the chains.
Well, that's where Shane Waldron, as offensive coordinator, needs to step in, Luke, and he needs to reel the quarterback in, and week by week he has to develop. That's what rookie you have to do, week by week.
I think he's got to get Caleb Williams to the point where he's doing more scheduled throws, not him just running out of the pocket and trying to make something. Yeah. I mean, that's what he did in college, and it worked, but that's not going to work every single play in the NFL.
This is a different speed of a defensive line coming off the edge at you. You don't have that time like you did. You don't have that luxury.
And Luke, and if he's going to do that,
he ain't going to outrun all these D
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, your offensive line against Colorado's defensive line, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. It's not in this level.
Well, I was going to say, if he's going to do that, he's got to have the speed like Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. Guys like at that caliber that can, he can shimmy and shake a little bit and break free, because that's why Lamar and Mike Vick, and that's no shot at like saying Lamar and Vick can't throw, but their running ability is so dynamic, it's hard to bring them down.
He had the opportunities. The problem was he didn't connect.
Yeah.
That's what the issue is. He got free. He created plays. I'm going to give him that. I mean, he did a great job moving around in the pocket, getting free, allowing plays to develop. The dude just missed shit that was like, even I could have hit those throws.
Yeah. Well, let's top this one off, and let's move on to the rivalry of the week. They call it Burrowhead when Joe Burrow comes into town, but it's the Cincinnati Bengals boys traveling to Kansas City Chiefs. Bengals 0-1, Chiefs 1-0. What do you expect from this game this Sunday when Tony Romo and Jam Nance are on the call?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of know how this game's going to go. Looks like no T. Higgins this week, so Joe Burrow's not going to have his top-tier wide receivers stacked out there. So, I mean, he shrinks when he doesn't have every single player healthy. I mean,
that's what James Jones said today, too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, really? See? I'm not the only one thinking.
James Jones, Luke, literally said that it's time to say Joe Burrow is only good if he has a lot of weapons. So, obviously, quarterbacks should have one, but he said a lot of weapons.
I mean, at LSU, he had all the weapons in the world, and he played great. But he couldn't even start at Ohio State. So, I mean.
And they have weapons. And Ohio State has weapons.
Yeah, but they had better quarterbacks in front of him. College quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're talking about Joe Burrow at Ohio State, not to take away from him what he did at LSU and everything, but, I mean, Ohio State is a competitive program. There are plenty of people that go into Ohio State, don't get their star transfer out. Even the guys that get the star transfer out because they're dog shit, like
Quinn Ewers transferred out. I mean, I think he would have started potentially, but I think he did that. He went there for money, and then he knew what he was going after. But back to Joe Burrow.
He had NIL is real when Ewers is there, so he grabbed his bag and ran.
And he's still grabbing his bag. But no, I think Doc and Luke, like with this game, like I'm not expecting the Bengals to go win, but just show me something going into week 3 against the Commanders on Monday night. Show me that you have a fighting bone in your body. I get it, you were lost by 6, but just show me that this rivalry where Burrow is 3-1 against Mahomes head to head, never lost in the regular season, did beat him once in the playoffs, lost to him the last time they faced. They didn't play last year because Burrow was hurt. Show me you have some fight left in the tank going into Monday night the following week.
It's also looking like Burrow still has a little bit of a wrist issue. He's been out there stretching it out during the games, and he's struggling to hold the water bottles. Apparently,
Jake's like Joe Burrow is a bum.
All right. I mean, this is a Chiefs defense that I don't think Burrow is going to be used to seeing. As much. I think that even in that close game against the Ravens last week, there were a lot of really special plays made in that Chiefs secondary. A lot of impressive plays. My thing with Joe Burrow, and I'm going to go back to it because I've said it before. My thing with Joe Burrow is the yards per attempt, the looking downfield, the passes over X number of yards beyond 6.
Mm,
And
weird.
Luke, dude, I'm about to put the hashtag on a shirt for Joey
is it?
Slants, dude, because I'm telling you,
Slant King,
Yeah,
Slant God.
dude, I'm telling
Slant
you,
God.
dude.
Slant
I'm
God.
seeing it. The numbers are showing it. We saw it last week, and the way his regression is going, though, and I don't know if this is a play call thing. I don't know if this is an offensive line or his ability to maintain composure in the pocket. I didn't get to watch the game last weekend. I very heavily focused on the Bears.
Yeah, rightly so.
Yeah, for Caleb Williams' first game, I had to put it on the full screen. So I'm gonna do a better job of watching it this week, because this is a big game, and this is going to be really telling for Joe Burrow. He's going to come out against Kansas City in a rivalry, but
Yeah.
if I'm
you two
Bengals
can agree,
fans, man,
the fact that you two can agree too, that's the thing. If you guys can agree on something's definitely
I've
in the
been
air right now.
I've been saying it for years that Joe Slants, he's the king of the 5-yard dump to Jamar Chase, and Chase takes it for 50, 60 yards. He's the
and
king.
that works sometimes. I'm not going to argue. We've seen it with Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? And,
yeah, it does work.
but
And that's why his stats early in his career are overinflated. His air yards are not that high. Like him pushing the ball down the field is not that great.
Right.
It's only getting worse because he's getting more and more banged up every season.
Yeah, and the concern is how his play is regressing in his attempts and what he's trying to do on the field. You guys have already not been able to win it with the offense that you have, and the offense hasn't gotten tremendously worse. Like, you've got to start stretching it. You've got to start trying to make the big plays. You've got speed. You've got a route runner in Jamar Chase. Let the man get open and do what he does, but he's not getting the opportunity. Like Jake said, or like Luke said, he's hitting the 5-yard or that's it. You know what I'm saying? And talent stacked on this team or not, there's a lot of concern. And is Joe Burrow, now that he got paid, because now you're stuck with that money, you're in a Danny Dimes situation.
Shout out to Emily, by the way. Shout out to Emily behind you.
Yeah,
She just crawled from the bar all the way back to the stairs. What do you got going on over there, dude?
Hey, shout out to my wife, by the way. Congratulations to my beautiful wife. She just made tech yesterday.
Hell yeah.
She just got her E6, so congratulations to her. Super proud of her. Super happy. But yeah, no, like I said, there's a lot of concern for Joe Burrow. Just the way that he's – I can't say it enough. The way that he's regressed. I've got to see – this is a pivotal season for Joe Burrow of – are we going to put money on the bench, or is he going to step up and be the guy? Because T. Higgins, Jamar Chase ain't going to be here forever. And I'm going to be honest, if I'm Jamar Chase, I don't know if I'm staying with Burrow.
They offered him 4-year, $130 million, Doc. And
he may take the money, but some guys want to win more.
I think it was 140. It was like almost the same deal as Justin Jefferson.
They can't agree on
wise.
It's the structure.
Yeah. Different.
Yeah, structure's off, and that's where it looks like they're disagreeing. And guys, this is the season where, like Doc, you were just saying, this is the season. This is the season where I'm going to decide truthfully how I feel, because I've been biting my tongue a little more on Joe Burrow lately. I'm waiting for this season. This is going to be 2024, the year I decide how I truthfully feel about Joe Burrow, like how I was about CeeDee Lamb. I wasn't a big fan when he first came in. Now I've reeled that back, and I was wrong. I'll admit that. If Joe Burrow doesn't show me something this year, with this team before T. Higgins out the door, maybe they might have to pay T. Higgins. I mean, Jake said that if T. Higgins comes in and makes a difference, you might have to pay like the Eagles did both receivers. I'm going to have to maybe change my mind, and it's going to be more half empty on him, not half full on him.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, the money's great, and if you put up the numbers, somebody will sign you. But are you staying with a quarterback that can't throw the ball past 6 yards?
And T. Higgins is the guy that goes – T. Higgins is not the speediest guy, but he's a guy that's a vert guy. He's a guy that goes up. He's a route runner. He's not a Jamar Chase where he's going to catch the screen and go. Jamar Chase can do it all, but that's not T. Higgins' role. T. Higgins' role is the guy that catches that screen and goes.
Not every receiver wants to catch a ball and do all the work themselves. Sometimes you want to be caught in stride. Sometimes you want that 20-yard pass. That's 3 yards, baby. Then you do the work. Then everything else. Otherwise, you get 5 and bust your ass to get 5 more. You get 20 and bust your ass for 5 more. It's still better on a sheet.
No, I agree, guys. And I mean, it's just this week I just want to see progression with the Bengals. I expect the Chiefs to win.
I want to see what Burrow. Burrow is the only one. Burrow's the only one. Let's not call it Bengals. Let's call it for what it is. Burrow is the one that needs to show that he can be the quarterback of old.
I want to see better play calling too, because like I said, Zach Moss averaged like I think 4.9 yards a carry, and they just barely ran him. So it's like I want to see more of a balanced attack too. You got to run the ball as well.
That defense did not look great either against the Patriots. So,
they didn't score a lot, but wait till they play the Chiefs. Wait till they play, and the Chiefs can finish drives.
Yeah. I mean, we were thinking the Patriots would be one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and they ended up.
Oh, they are.
Work, especially on their run game. They were running the ball down their throats.
They were. Let's pivot on though to a game, guys. The NFC divisional rematch in Detroit. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. Man, this is arguably the match of the week, if you ask me. Baker Mayfield coming off his great performance. Jared Goff didn't do a whole lot, but the Lions played a rough and tough kind of game. That's the Dan Campbell philosophy. Boys, what do we feel about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions in Motor City?
I mean, I liked what I saw last week from Tampa. I mean, Baker's taking big shots. I mean, he missed a couple still, but he hit more than he missed. So
they're double cover Mike Evans too, he said.
Yeah, if you don't double cover Mike Evans, he's gonna throw it up there.
I don't blame him, dude. I do not blame him on that.
That was a great touchdown. Mike Evans' first one. That was a great catch by him too.
Well, this is a Baker Mayfield that we've been seeing for a little while now. The real Baker Mayfield that I think is no longer tainted by the Browns and moving around from team to team. I'm going to start too, but I don't think this is the matchup of the week. I don't think
it's potentially matchup of the week.
No, I think the money is going to be more on. I would say more on Chiefs Bengals, even with the concern for Burrow. I think it's still on Chiefs Bengals more than anything, but. I mean, I'm expecting the Lions to take care of business. We've seen what Burrow can do. Burrow. We've seen what Baker can do. I think this is going to be a game of defenses because both offenses have what it takes. You got to see Amon-Ra get and put into more, get used more. Laporta's got to get his 15 targets a game. If he's not getting that, he's not shit. So
he had 5 for I think, I don't know, it was like 5 for 40 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
He didn't have much. He killed me last week.
Well, they stopped throwing the ball. Yeah, he did kill you. And sucks I have Laporta in Dynasty and I'm going against you, and you got Laporta. You got my guy, and I mean, I'll take that. But no, I mean, this is also, boys, a kind of it's not just a revenge game from the playoffs. The Lions swept the Bucs last year. They beat the shit out of them in Tampa Bay early on in the season, and the offensive line struggled against a weak Lions defensive line. They're a better defense this year. Aiden Hutchinson looks way better in his third season.
Bad last year. I wouldn't say that Detroit defensive line was weak. The secondary was weak. I wouldn't say last year the defensive line was. They needed somebody opposite of Hutchinson, but Hutchinson still changed the game.
The secondary didn't look too terrible against the Rams. They did have an interception in the red zone. So I think that this is a good test to see, because I know Stafford threw the ball really quick, to see if this D-line can get to Baker, how improved this offensive line is. Boys, I mentioned the Bucs defense. They played great against the Commanders with Jake yesterday. But Luke, this is the game that we need to see the Bucs defense actually deliver, because this is a good offense in the Detroit Lions. This is in a hostile environment. Good defenses are supposed to travel on the road. So, Luke, the defense is something I'm keying on in this game too for the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, defense played great last week. I mean, this would be definitely a bigger test for them going to Detroit, trying to get that revenge game back. I mean, since being beaten by Detroit twice last season. But I think this Tampa Bay offense is much improved from last season. I mean, they upgraded the O-line. So Baker's he's not running for his life every play now, and he's just throwing the ball up a little crazy. He's got time to sit in the pocket and complete his passes without pressure in his face. I think White at running back is taking the next step up, is what it looked like last week. I mean, he had a big day last week.
Bucky had a good game too.
Yeah, Bucky got involved too. So, I mean, I think the offense is the biggest change for Tampa. Yeah, their defense, they got good players there, but they don't have like the star power on defense like most.
Their defense has been pretty solid though every year.
They do have a solid team, but they don't have any big name star players like Aiden Hutchinson.
No, but they've always gotten it done though defensively.
Well, they have Winfield. They have Winfield, but Winfield, I think Jake is saying he's training to be out, which that would be a huge loss in the secondary for the team, because he is a beast. He is one of the better safeties in the league. So,
I just want to say I can't stress enough, how much I'm enjoying watching Baker Mayfield get success. All the bullshit that was, spewed about him and not being a team player and everything. I mean, the guy had a shit hand dealt to him from the start. And then imagine getting drafted to the Browns. I mean, I'm convinced that,
and gets him a playoff win too.
you know what I mean? And this is a Baker Mayfield that we've seen win, and we see a difference here than we see in the Baker of old, in that he's not trying to put the team on his back. He's not out there trying to do too much like we saw in Cleveland. That was one of the big things in Cleveland, was kind of like we saw with Caleb, taking shots, trying to do way more than you needed to be successful and get your team to the other end of the field.
He's mature in Cleveland.
He's matured. I will say he's matured.
I think he had to take the big shots in Cleveland too, just to try to stay
that's
in
what I'm
the
saying.
game.
Yeah, because he had to put it on his back. And I'm going to be honest, I think the quarterback curse of Cleveland, man. I don't think there's a quarterback you could put in Cleveland that could find success right now. I really don't.
Baker had success there. He led him to a playoff win, and he took the Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl that year. Oh, it was no, the Chiefs lost, I think, that year to the Bucs. But the Chiefs that went to the Super Bowl took him to the wire, man. Took him down to the very end of the game.
I wouldn't say that we saw overall long-term success from Baker. He had his moments.
Yeah.
He had his moments,
hurt a lot too. He was hurt a lot too.
Yeah, he was not the quarterback success that they anticipated him being when they drafted him. But it's just a very refreshing. I love seeing Baker successful. I've always liked Baker when he came out of Oklahoma. So very happy to see what he's doing now with and a great backup, honestly, for Tom Brady, or a great replacement for Tom Brady, rather. What did you say, Jake? Or Luke? Sorry, I don't know why I keep doing that.
No, Baker still got that dog in him too.
Oh yeah, that fire is still there hard.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad to see him actually get paid too. I mean, I know it's not one of these record-breaking contracts like some of these other quarterbacks, but it's good to see him stay in Tampa, get paid, and keep the whole offense around him, like keeping Mike Evans there and a bunch of other players that they re-signed.
That's why you take a little bit less money.
Yeah, I think he's doing the right thing in Tampa. Tampa fits him.
And after he got paid, he didn't Geno Smith it.
No, he's still playing. He's playing well.
Hey, look, we have a couple topics left, a couple games, and then we're going to do actually, Luke, let's ask you real quick, because John Harbaugh's comments about who's going to be the guy every week. This week against the Raiders, I know Andrews and Henry the volume wasn't. Who is the guy, if you're telling people out there that's listening, who's the guy that's going to explode outside of Lamar Jackson for the Baltimore Ravens offense?
I think what Harb said is correct. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's going to change week to week who's getting that. I mean, what he said, the Chiefs doubled Mark Andrews every single play. So what are you going to do? You're going to go somewhere else with the ball. And he did. He just went to Isaiah Likely all game because Likely was open. So, I mean, and they planned on stuff in the run. They wanted to start Derrick Henry. Yeah, they did that. So, I mean, what would they do? Lamar faked the handoff to Henry and take the ball himself. And he got over 100 rushing yards. So, I mean, it's tough. I think the Ravens have too many players that you can't cover everybody. That somebody's going to get theirs, and it's up to the defense to pick who they feel like stopping that week.
My money's on Henry and Andrews this week. I think that against the Raiders, Andrews is going to get his. I'm not saying he's going to go have an Isaiah Likely game, but I'm expecting 6 catches, maybe for like 70 yards and a touchdown. And I'm expecting Derrick Henry to get 100 yards and at least 1, maybe 2 touchdowns. This game, when we predict it, it's going to be a bloodbath.
If I don't see the entire offense explode against the Las Vegas Raiders, okay, there's going to be a lot of doubt in my mind about who the Baltimore Ravens are this season. But no, to speak to your point, Mark, about who explodes this week, who gives a shit? Because
I was mentioning.
No, I know where you're coming from, but I get that. But honestly, to talk about it though, and it's going to be a different guy, that's great. Let it be the open guy. I don't care who it is, as long as they're moving the ball and getting points. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you've got the weapons to be able to spread it around like that, that's a win. That's a win every week. They don't know who to cover every week.
All right. So, hey, if anyone's listening, the answer is doesn't matter. Unless you're asking me, then it's Andrews and Derrick Henry. Boys,
just pick somebody on the Ravens.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys. There are teams, obviously 16 teams are 0-1. If you had to pick a team that cannot afford to go 0-2, cannot afford to start the season 2 straight losses, and will have a tough time bouncing back, who would your team be for it? And I'll start us off. I'll pick my team. and then I'm going to pick the Falcons. Like I said, it is a must-win for the Atlanta Falcons. I cannot picture this team going 0-2, or I mean, I can picture it, but I'm saying we can't picture us going 0-2 and then going in Monday or Sunday night against Chiefs at home and beat the hell out of them, or just try and beat them at least. But this is a must-win for the Falcons. We cannot afford to go 0-2. It's a tough schedule. The first 5 weeks are tough, and then we do play the Saints and Bucks before. I think like weeks 9, we played the Bucks and Saints. Like the first half of the season, we're done with them early. So we have a tough schedule to start the first half of the season. We have to get the season 1-1 and be no worse than 1-2 going to divisional games back to back. So Kirk Cousins and the offensive line for pass protection, they need to figure it out. Honestly, it's a must win for the Dirty Birds in ATL.
Yeah, mine's going to be the New York Jets. Like the rest of the division won that week 1. So, and some of them are probably going to win again. I think. Well, one's going to lose because Miami and Buffalo play each other.
Yeah,
but if the New York Jets go 0-2, they're still in last place.
2 games back.
They're 2 games back behind everybody, and somebody's 2.5 games ahead of them, having a divisional win. So I mean, it's tough for them. I mean, they're the only one with a loss in their division.
Mine is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. I think the strength of schedule that the Ravens have this year, already being a game down to the Steelers. We've seen Joe Burrow starts out cold every year. And that's why I say it's hard to put stock on week 1 and the numbers from week 1. Joe Burrow, we know he always warms up like week 3, week 4 and gets into midseason form. So this is a Bengals team that can take off. The Browns can absolutely take off if they can get a quarterback under center aside from Watson, which we saw last year with Joe Flacco. But the Ravens are in a win now mode this week, and thankfully they've got a good rebound opponent to do so. But this is a game they absolutely have to win because especially with how close this division can be and how well these teams play in the division against each other, you don't really see the sweeps. So with how well and how close this division is going to be, the Ravens have got to get on the win column and start getting towards. Like I said, especially that strength of schedule, they've got a very, very tough schedule this year, and every loss is going to be a knife to the heart. And this is one, and I think a lot of people last week took the Chiefs over the Ravens, which is understandable because honestly, you can go either way with it with those two teams. But in either way, you understand. But this is a game that no doubt everybody has Ravens 1,000%. They lose this game, and the Ravens are in trouble in the division because it's also demoralizing.
Quick, we don't have to do who needs to be 2-0. Obviously, Packers are easy answer for 0-2. I'm not going to mention it because of the quarterback injury, but I think the Saints need to be 2-0 when this game is over against the Dallas Cowboys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers seem like they're rolling right now, and the Saints, great win over the Panthers, blew them out. They need to be 2-0. They need to keep pace with the Bucs because honestly, the Bucs might not slow down this year. They need to keep winning games out there in NOLA.
Yeah, I'm gonna go my team here. I'm gonna go with the Bears. The Bears need to be 2-0 with Jordan Love out for a couple of weeks. I think it's going to create an opportunity for the Bears to create space from the Packers and make this a Bears-Lions race. Not necessarily to win the division, but to help get to that playoff spot and secure a wild card. Vikings, obviously against the Giants. I think they're done this year. That was good win, but enjoy the next 17 weeks. But like I said, with Love being out, this can come down to a Lions-Bears, and the Bears have got to get that momentum, get Caleb Williams on the right track, start 0-2. And it's not necessarily about like being 2-0 right now as much as it is taking advantage of Jordan Love being out, getting that win, and start keep up with the Lions
makes sense.
For that late run.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. Like, let's shake this division up.
I like it.
They go 2-0.
I almost went with them, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Miami or Buffalo will lose this week, and if the Jets lose, then Jets are 2 games behind them. And Patriots are sneaking to first place real quick, and if they can get hot, start hot, they could shake up the way that division plays out.
If the Pats win and the Bills Dolphins tie, Pats are outright division leaders.
Well, and Jared Mayo did say before the season they're not in the tanking business. And last year the Texans came out of nowhere, and they were that team that no one thought of. Are the New England Patriots that Luke? If they go 2-0, they're raising people's eyebrows a little bit, and that is shaking the division up, like you said.
Yeah.
There's a difference between not being in the tanking business and not having a choice. Okay, you don't have to be in the tanking business and still get absolutely destroyed all year long.
But boys, let's
Yeah,
do one
but-
last topic before that. Was that Luke?
No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say let's do one last topic before we do picks. Obviously, you have your 4 big games. You have your primetime games, and you have the Chiefs Bengals. Sneaky game of the week. Like you're saying, man, like this game might be the game of the week. And I mentioned it, Saints Cowboys. That's my game of the week. I think that Derek Carr and Dak Prescott are going to put on a show. I think the defenses will have some moments there too. But I'm telling you, my eyes are on the Saints and Cowboys. And according to Chris, that's the Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt game. So I didn't really listen to Brady last week, but there'll be, I think, a very good game in Dallas with the Saints and Cowboys.
I'm actually right there with you because this is, if we see the Derek Carr we saw last week with the missing pieces on, Bland's out, the folks that they lost in Dallas didn't really make any moves in the offseason to really bolster this team. So, this is and I think getting rid of the cancer of Michael Thomas and the injury really opens up the atmosphere in New Orleans. So this is a team that, they have the offensive weapons. If they can come out and play like they did last week, and we've seen Derek Carr and the Saints do this against other teams, that are not just cupcake teams. You know what I mean? So if he can come out the Saints have what it takes to keep it close. That defense is still good. You just got to keep double cover CeeDee Lamb, and you'll be good.
Yeah, I mean,
and you see a lot of it too.
I think the game depends on what Derek Carr you get. Like, are you gonna get the Derek Carr that's yelling at his lineman, or are you gonna get the Derek Carr that's talking shit to the defense?
Are you going to get the Derek Carr, or are you going to get the Jameis Winston Derek Carr,
Yeah.
Fact,
so, I mean,
Derek Carr's the nicest guy, too. If he's talking shit to you, that there's something going
on.
You
screwing up. You screwing up. Own that shit.
You're having a bad day.
Own that
he hits
shit.
3 touchdowns on you. You're having a bad day.
Yeah. Luke, you got to give us the game of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the New York Jets at Tennessee. I mean, this is a big game for the New York Jets. And both teams lost last week, so both 0-1. I mean, one of these teams is going to go 0-2 most likely unless they tie. And I think it's going to be, if the Jets go 0-2, it's going to be very tough for them to start climbing back into this division.
And I'm going to give you one more, Mark, just for the day you and I agreed. I'm going to go Steelers Broncos. 2 essentially rookie-minded quarterbacks going against each other in Justin Fields and Bo Nix. Look, Justin Fields didn't impress nobody last week. Relax. Steelers great defense, but I'm looking for a breakout game from Bo Nix. I'd like to see it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just throwing out some bullshit because you and I agreed on our game. So just to give a third one for the viewers.
I feel bad for Bo Nix because T.J. Watt will be playing this game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
T.J. Watt is a problem,
geez.
and it's going to be a problem for that offensive line and Bo Nix.
Boys, it's that time where we are going to do our predictions. And last week, you're going to see the ticker. It's going to scroll through when we have our predictions out. But just to recap it, last week, Jake won straight up 14-2. Doc right there behind him, 13-3. I was 12-4. Luke and Chris, you were 10-6, and Alan with the rear at 9-7. Against the spread, only Jake and Doc had good ones. Jake was 11-4-1. Doc was 9-6-1. I was 6-9-1. Luke, you were 5-10-1. Alan 4-11-1. And if you're listening to spreads, do not listen to Chris because he was 2-13-1. Not a very and Cam, we agree. Puka is going to be out long term. It looks like it's going to be longer than 4 weeks. So if you draft him in fantasy, it very tough on you. I'm glad I did not draft him. I'm glad I avoided him because I was close to drafting him a couple times. But no, so yeah, these are the standings. It's going to update every week. You're going to see it. But boys, let's start with. Let me get to the 3 screen. So let's start Thursday night football. The Buffalo Bills traveling to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites. Doc, lead us off.
Yeah, didn't expect that.
Me neither.
I mean, like we talked about in the beginning, this is going to be an explosive offensive game. I just think that Josh Allen's going to be able to do a little bit more. He's going to step up and do Josh Allen things, the right Josh Allen things. Also a Dolphin killer like we talked about. And the Dolphins are known to get upset at home, upset on the road. We saw that with the Patriots historically in the Tom Brady era. So I'm looking for Josh Allen to come in South Florida, take this one down. And then I guess I have the Dolphins or the Bills for the spread.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna unfortunately, painfully, have to go against. I think these two will split. I think the Bills will win in Orchard Park in Buffalo. But I think going into Miami, I think their offense will explode a little bit. I think it's going to be a really good game. I can't pick them this week. I have the Dolphins winning and covering the spread. It's only 2.5 points, so it will be at least a field goal game for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking with Miami here too. I think Josh Allen's going to do the bad Josh Allen things in this game. I mean, he's going against some pretty good corners that the Miami Dolphins defense has. So I think he's going to overthrow somebody and make a bad mistake, and it's going to be too much offense from Miami going against the Bills defense.
You got to remember though. This is early season Josh Allen. He doesn't have to do too much. He's not fighting for the playoffs this week, so he may take it easy a little bit and focus up.
I doubt it.
And Chris has the Dolphins winning and covering. Jake has the Dolphins winning and covering. Allen has the Dolphins winning, but the Bills covering the spread. So he's got he's got a 1 or 2 point game essentially. So moving on to me and Doc's sneaky game of the week, the New Orleans Saints traveling to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are 6.5 point favorites in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, this one, as much as I think that this can be a close game with the Saints, my heart tells me this is going to be a Cowboys blowout of more than 6.5 points. So I'm taking the Cowboys by the spread.
As you can see, I have the Dallas Cowboys winning this game. I think they are a better team, but Doc, I disagree. I think the Saints will keep it close. I think they'll keep it under 6 points and under. The Saints covering the spread. I think the defense for the Saints will keep them in the game. Cowboys will pull away a little late, maybe a couple big plays here, and the Saints just kind of backdoor cover possibly. But Cowboys win, Saints cover the spread.
Yeah, I have the Saints keeping it relatively close. I think the Cowboys their offense and defense are going to be a problem for the Saints, and I think you're going to get regular season Derek Carr back, where he's fairly average quarterback. Then CeeDee Lamb and Michael Parsons are a fucking problem, and I don't know if the Saints have the answer to
y'all
that problem.
For those of you that took the Saints spread, the Saints covering, y'all saw what they did, what Dallas did to Cleveland's defense last week, right? And Cleveland is arguably one of the best defense in the league.
I still think the Saints are always slept on defense. They always play a hard defense.
I'm not saying they don't.
No, I know.
The point is that Cleveland's still a better defense, and Cleveland got walked on last week.
I have the Saints covering. I do have the Saints covering.
Yeah,
you have the Saints. Wow. Okay.
I think the Browns defense outside a couple pieces this year is going to be a shambling defense. I think they're going to be kind of in shambles a lot of the year. I don't think that they're like Allen said, well, this is the best defense. And this is not because the Falcons lost. The Steelers are better than their defense. The Niners are probably better than defense when healthy. I think the Saints are slept on. The Bears defense is better. Yeah, I mean,
the Bears defense. You want to talk about a sleepy defense? Chicago's defense showed that shit last week.
Chris has got the Cowboys winning and covering. Jake's got the Cowboys covering, winning, and so does Allen. So only me and Luke have the Saints covering the spread here.
Shout out, by the way, I forgot to say it earlier when we were talking about the Bears. Shout out to Will Levis for throwing more Chicago touchdowns than Caleb Williams.
Cam, when it comes to Brandon Cooks, if he's pick upable, I don't know, man. Like
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I had him last year, dude. Huge disappointment.
You just don't know when he's going to go off.
Get you a game or two here and there, but that's pretty much about it.
It's not even go off. It's
CeeDee Lamb show.
It is.
Is Ferguson out?
Yeah, he's out, but there's no timetable yet, I don't think.
If Ferguson's out, Cooks may not be a bad move because Ferguson got a lot of targets last year. A pretty good amount for a tight end. CeeDee Lamb, you can count on getting 30 targets a game. I don't know. I had Cooks last year, and it was a severe disappointment. Now, they also had Gallup, who was as well a disappointment.
He was amazing.
Yeah, I think that it's route running and hands ability from anybody that is not named CeeDee Lamb or Jake Ferguson on that team is the issue.
I agree there. Moving on to the Cleveland Browns, coming off that disappointing loss that Doc just mentioned, traveling to Duval County, facing the Jaguars, who came off a disappointing loss when they choked the lead against the Miami Dolphins. Doc, take us out here.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence played. Actually, I didn't even look at the numbers last week for Trevor Lawrence. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick. But I know nothing crazy impressive. Who has Trevor Lawrence this year?
I think he's a free agent.
Waivers. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a waiver guy.
In Dynasty?
Oh, Dynasty would
I don't
be
use ESPN for shit. I got it. I don't use ESPN
Dynasty.
for shit. Fuck ESPN.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Okay, so just as I suspected, I mean, only 21 attempts last week, but 12 completions for 162 yards. Trevor Lawrence played like absolute dog shit, in my opinion. I think Cleveland, the defense comes together. I think that Watson doesn't necessarily bounce back, but does enough to keep this team afloat. And I think Trevor Lawrence is the Trevor Lawrence that we've all come to know and hate the last couple of years. And I'm taking the Cleveland Browns in this one for the upset, obviously covering the spread of +3.
I have the opposite here. I think the Jaguars' defense is pretty decent. I think the Browns' defense, especially last year, they never traveled on the road. I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence is going to go
Browns didn't travel on the road?
The Browns' defense, they struggled on the road last year.
Oh,
they were good at home.
I heard they never traveled. I was like, damn, Browns didn't play any road games last year?
No. Defense didn't travel well. I think that this is an ETN bounce back game here where he fumbled that ball on the 2 yard line, which cost him the game, honestly.
They can keep fumbling.
And then I think that the receivers, Thomas, Gabe Davis, and I think Ingram is tight end. I think all them guys are going to eat. I'm going Jaguars winning and covering the spread.
I'm not denying they can all eat, but Trevor Williams ain't going to feed him. Or Trevor Lawrence ain't going to feed him.
I think this is Trevor Lawrence get right game. I think the first game is pretty much a warm up for him. The defense is good enough. The Jags defense is good enough to stop Deshaun Watson. I believe if Deshaun Watson is starting quarterback for the Browns, I don't have too much faith in their offensive abilities. I know they have a good defense, but I think there's going to be too much Jags offense, too many weapons for them to stop the Jags offense, and I had the Jags covering the spread.
Trevor Lawrence hasn't really had like a get right week since.
No, but ETN is there. I think they'll open up with the run game. It'll loosen up the defense, and he'll be able to pop some to hopefully Big Dave.
Big Dave. Chris is agreeing with me and you, Luke. He's got Jags winning and covering. Allen has Jags winning, but pushing. So he's got a push bet here. Jake's got the Browns like Doc winning outright, which means they cover the spread. So Doc and Jake in agreements. Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders coming all the way to the East Coast to travel the pissed off Baltimore Ravens. Both teams 0-1. Both teams do not want to go 0-2. Doc, what you thinking here?
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer for me for the Ravens. The only thing I'm struggling on is this is a hefty spread. Anytime you're looking at -9 in any game of the NFL, it is a dangerous spread. But I think what we saw last week with the Raiders, hopefully Bowers continues to get shut down to help fuel what I'm about to say. But I think that the Raven defense, keeps the Raiders at home. And I'm gonna this is tough. I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna take the Raiders covering the spread, the Ravens covering the spread.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it easy for me, Chris, Jake, and Allen. We have Ravens winning outright and covering the spread. I'm not gonna say much about this game. We already said earlier they're gonna explode.
Yep. Same for me. I have the Ravens covering the spread as well. I think this is the Ravens show out game. They're gonna go put on a show for everybody to see that last week is not what's going to be expected for the Ravens the rest of the season. So I think they're going to go shut down Max Crosby this game, focus on him for our offense. Then our defense is obviously filled with a bunch of studs. So I don't think our defense will have an issue with the Raider offense.
Yeah. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 1-0, trying to go 2-0 under Jim Harbaugh, traveling to arguably the worst team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers, who are 0-1.
Yeah, this is a big game for the Chargers. Even though it is the Panthers, and I say it's a big game because the Chargers need to find their identity. They need to come out and figure out how to make plays. This is not going to be, I don't think, as a walk in the park as they're hoping it to be, especially as Carolina continues to.
6-point favorites, my bad. So yeah, 6-point favorites is the walk in the park number, Doc. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm going to take the Chargers by the spread. But as Carolina continues to get better every single week, I'm looking for them to start closing the gap and being more competitive in games. But I think that Carolina is still close enough to, the Raiders play of last week that the Chargers are going to come out and handle business. But it's going to be a 7-point game.
Once again, I'll make it easy for me, Chris, Jake, and Alan. Chargers win. Chargers cover the spread. Also, huge game for J.K. Dobbins last week. He should be hopefully running back 1 as he's coming back for his comeback story. So, Chargers win. Cover the spread from the 4 of us.
Yeah, Dobbins
I
got stories out.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Chargers win this one, but I got the Panthers actually covering the spread. I mean, I don't think this will be. What's that?
You changed it?
No.
On me?
Oh no, never mind. I read mine wrong. No, I got the Chargers winning.
I wouldn't know. Hang on. I would love to hear because you had the Panthers covering. I'd love to hear your reason now that you read it wrong. I'd love to hear your reason for why the Chargers are going to cover now. Let's hear both sides of it real quick so folks at home can make a decision.
Two different arguments.
An argument on each side.
No, I read the wrong score. Yeah, I got Chargers 26-13. That's the actual one I wrote down.
Still close game.
I was going to say that it'd be a lower scoring game. That's why the 6-point spread. I thought the Panthers might be able to cover that, but I think the Chargers defense is going to be too much for the Panthers offense. I mean, saw Nick Bosa Joey Bosa kind of woke up a little bit. I think he's back, hopefully back to his old self. Khalil Mack still over there, so it's solid defense. Bunch of big names. Hopefully they keep playing well, and that ground and pound offense that the Harbaugh brothers love. J.K. Dobbins looking good. So
they look good.
Hopefully he can stay healthy. Keep going. I mean, great to see the kid actually finish a game and have a very good game. Got game ball in the NFL, so it's good for him.
Big strip sack by Khalil Mack too. I have his jersey over there, but
what color?
And shout out to you, Luke. Shout out to you, Luke, for being prepared on either end of the argument, though. Thinking on your feet, I like that.
I was coming. Well, whatever I had,
you were ready to go. Yeah, I respect.
He was ready to give an argument for whichever side he needed to do. He was ready.
I like it.
Moving on to me, Luke. At least, I mean, I think
on myself.
Potential game of the week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Motor City to face the Detroit Lions, who are 7.5-point favorites at home.
That's pretty spread.
I think that's a big spread, in my opinion.
That is a big spread. I'm going to take the Lions straight up on this one as it shows, but I'm going to take the Bucks covering the spread. I'm going to take them plus 7.5.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. 7.5 is too big for this game, even if the Lions win, which obviously you see.
That's what gets me is both defenses are pretty evenly stacked, if not a little bit in favor of the Bucks and the Bucks offense. But the Bucks offense showed out. I mean, they have the weapons, they have the tools. My question is still in the Lions secondary is where I have still a lot of concern, but
Carlton Davis. I got Carlton Davis game too.
This week.
Carlton Davis going against his former team. He looked pretty good for the Lions when he was out there. So I agree, Doc. This spread's too crazy for me to go. I'm going Lions, of course. I mean, that's my Super Bowl champion. I'm gonna go the Detroit Lions, and the Bucks keep it close, man. The Bucks keep it close. It's gonna be, I think, arguably the best game of the week. It's at 1:00, so my team will be on that one. And then Chris has Lions winning, but Bucks covering. Jake's got Lions and Bucks covering, and then Alan's got Lions and Bucks covering. So no one likes the spread.
I don't like the spread either. So that's why I'm going the Bucks winning outright. I had Bucks winning by 1 point in this game, 28-27, I think. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be back and forth pretty much the entire game. I think the offenses are going to both play pretty well, but the defense is going to stand strong. I think the Bucks just edge it out. Getting that rebound game against the Lions at their home place, kind of shut them up a little bit. Let old MCDC give the boys a little pep talk after the game about how they got to do better next week.
Yeah, Luke, I am a little shocked, though, that you're the only one. I thought maybe we get 2 on there. When I saw these picks coming in my messages, I was like, man, it's interesting.
Yeah, I got Baker 10 wins. Bucks are getting 10 wins this year.
I mean, I see the Lions winning by 7.
Closet.
That's the max of 7.
That's Luke's closet team. He won't admit it. Well, yeah, he'll admit it. That's his closet team for the last couple of years. Since Baker came there, really.
you go to so many Bucks games, living in Florida, then Cindy's mom used to have season tickets to Bucks games, so you got other games you want to see them win. Obviously,
that's true. I almost felt that way with Rutgers football, but then I remembered I have self-respect.
Sydney also being a Bucks fan too, so you got to root for the missus.
She's a Bucks fan.
team.
Pretty much like her entire family are Bucks fans. So
Yeah,
gotta go support a little bit. And if they're not playing the Ravens in Tampa, then
Is that how that works? I'm about to see if my wife's a Chiefs fan. She's from Missouri. I'm about to see if she's a Chiefs fan.
they play this year. Is it in the bank or is it in Raymond James?
No, it is in Raymond James. Not sure if I'll be able to go to that game or not, but I'd like to.
Be fun.
It's the week after UCF and Florida play, and I also try to want to go to that one, but making 2 separate trips while having to work during the week, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
It's in the same month too. I was hoping it'd be the same weekends. I'll make one trip down, go to both games, and come back. But
take a leave day Monday at the worst case.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts traveling to Lambeau Field to face the Green Bay Packers. Colts are 3-point favorites. They say Jordan Love could play. I'm banking on Malik Willis to be the quarterback for the Packers. That's what they're saying.
I'm pretty sure the Packers came out and said Malik Willis is a starter.
He says a starter if Jordan Love can't go. They never officially announced it. They're keeping it like that. Where maybe I think Love misses at least 1-2 games.
I don't know how you don't with a sprain like that. I mean, if you don't, that's how you end the rest of your season. Is by coming back too soon in a game that you don't need to in week 2. This is a no-brainer for me. I mean, it's tough, obviously. If Love does come back, this completely changes the landscape, which is why we're all going to take L's on this, apparently. But without Love, I'm taking the Colts by the spread. This is easy. Colts are going to win by more than 3.
I'll
tell you this.
Easy money. Colts take this one by the spread. I mean, it's too easy, I think. AR is going to start dialing in once he gets a few games under his belt. He'll start figuring out his receiver speed, and hopefully he'll start hitting some more of these deep balls. I mean, he got a couple of them, but he also missed quite a few as well.
I disagree with you, though, Doc, with that statement you about with all taking L's. I told Jake last night when we did our projections, I had week 2 Colts winning this game. So I didn't know Jordan Love was going to get hurt. I already had the Colts going 1-1 and the Packers starting off 0-2. So it just fits my schedule, even if he's hurt. And if he comes back, he's still going to be hobbled. So I'll make it easy. Me, Chris, Jake, and Alan agree with you boys. Colts win, cover the spread. Moving on to Jake's team, San Francisco 49ers. It looks like it will be a Jordan Mason game once again. No Christian McCaffrey. Doc, make sure that you don't keep him in your dynasty lineup this week. As they travel to Minnesota, and a game last year where the Vikings won with Kirk Cousins, the Niners are 6-point favorites.
Yeah, that was a game with Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins isn't there no more. Mullins played against a very weak Giants team. I don't even want to say defense. Honestly, I think that Brian Daboll is kind of in the water boy coach situation where he just kind of clutches in high heels in his playbook and cries at night. This is a no-brainer for me. Giants are going to cover the spread. I'll give them a -12. Giants are covering. Or I'm sorry, Niners. Niners are covering that. CMC or not, and Mason went off last week. This isn't. I ain't worried about CMC not being in this game for the Niners. I am for my fantasy team, and not for the Niners.
I agree with you, Doc. This is going to be a touchdown game with extra point. Touchdown with extra point. I have the Niners winning by at least 7 points. I liked what I saw from them last week. They ran through the Jets, and I think that they're going to, I don't say blow out the Vikings, but they are going to win. It will be interesting to see Sam Darnold versus a good defense with the weapons he has. Real quick look before you go. Jake and Alan and Chris agree 49ers win, 49ers cover.
I'm not the only one taking Vikings to cover the spread. Looks like.
Hey.
I think the Vikings keep this game relatively close, under 6-point game. I think I put them as a 3-point game. Really, I liked what I saw from Sam Darnold last week, but a little step up on defensive competition. I think he plays well. I mean, he's got Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to, and I think this Vikings defense will play all right against the 49ers defense. But Niners still win either way.
On to the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Foxborough to face the Patriots. I won't say, of course, Allen did pick the Patriots to lose last week. The Seahawks are 3.5-point favorites against the surprising 1-0 Patriots on the road.
Yeah, this one, this is tough. I'm taking the Seahawks, obviously. 3.5 points is tough though, because this is every week is a problem with the Seahawks. Is which Geno Smith are you going to get? Are the receivers going to come out, make the plays? But because that run game is so deadly as well with the Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet duo, I'm going to take the Seahawks covering.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Oh, no.
There you go, Luke. You go.
Yeah, I had the Seahawks covering this as well. I had the Seahawks as I think a touchdown favorite in this game. So I'm going to ride the Seahawks. I think the last week might have been a fluke game for the Patriots. As much as I like to see them win, just because it'd be kind of cool. Some team that we all thought would lose almost every game and should pull off some wins. But I think Seahawks. I think their defense will be too good for the Patriot offense, and their run game with the Seahawks offense will probably just edge it out, get a nice touchdown lead on them, and Patriots won't be able to score.
I think the Seahawks win and cover the spread, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game for the Seahawks. I think it's going to be under a touchdown game. I think the Patriots defense will keep it close. It will be a lower scoring game. I like the Patriots defense still. I mean, the Patriots defense knows how to play. But Jake's got the Seahawks winning and covering. Of course, Chris has got the Seahawks. Oh, shit. Chris's name, my bad. Chris is with Allen. Chris has Patriots winning. So Chris is I moved the names on the wrong. Chris has got the Patriots along with Allen winning and, of course, then covering the spread.
Hey, just remember, this is why we don't go with Chris on the bets, all right?
Yeah.
Let me make sure. But, Chris right here. Yep. Chris says Patriots plus 3.5. So, yeah, he didn't even put the money line. So, that means, he's got Patriots with Allen. So, moving on to the Jets versus the Titans.
You might want to verify that with him, though, because Patriots plus 3.5 could just mean Patriots covering the spread. I know.
When he has the spread, he puts, like, if it's the guy, if the favorite's winning, he just says the favorite. For example,
and
if
then
he
the
had Jets winning,
3.5.
Yeah, he'll say Jets ML Titans spread. So,
okay.
Yeah. No, So Titans versus Titans hosting the New York Jets. Jets are 3.5 point favorites in Nashville, Tennessee. Both are get right games for both teams, or Doc.
Yeah. This was a tough showing last week for both teams. I mean, Will Levis was the best quarterback on the Bears last week. Aaron Rodgers had his issues with the line and with receivers. This is two teams that need to figure it out this week, even though it's only week 2. They need to figure out what they're going to do for the rest of the season. What type of team are they going to be? Are they going to compete, or are they going to continue to just drop loads all over the field and shit the bed? So I think the Jets have a better chance of doing that this week. I think they've got more weapons offensively. That defense, I think, is a very scary defense. I think they had some lapses last week, and they're going to come together now and figure it out. I'm going to take the Jets covering the spread.
Yeah, I think the Jets still need to go get Hassan Reddick and sign. Well, they have him. They need to sign him. I think the Jets are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a close game, though. It's going to be, I still think, under one possession, but it's going to be over that 3.5 threshold. So I got the Jets covering, along with Chris, Jake, and Allen. They were also on the Jets wagon.
I'll be the lone one riding the Titans. Titans playing the home game. They usually play fairly well at home, So, I mean, they're coming off the – they probably would have actually blew the Bears out if Will Levis didn't collapse at the end of the game. So the Bears lined up some pressure on Levis, and he just collapsed at the end of the game because their Titans offense looked pretty good in the first half of the game. And I think they're going to build off of that, and their run game.
It was like the first quarter and a third maybe. They look good.
Weren't they? I'm pretty sure they were shutting you guys up at halftime.
No, they were, but the offense started steadily declining like that somewhere in the second quarter to halftime.
Yeah.
Well, so the first half of the game, they looked good. Second half, they looked bad. Either way.
Second half, Caleb went in the locker room like, listen, defense, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I need y'all to step up. And defense is like, we got you, fam.
And I didn't really like too much what I saw from the Jets offense. I know, they just pretty much look sloppy overall. Drop passes, fumbles. I don't know if it's just a week 1 thing with the Jets and their defense. I mean, we were so high on the Jets defense, but they did not look that good.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Who surprised the hell out of me, though?
He had a drop touchdown. So this game could have been a bigger blowout last week than it actually was.
Who surprised the hell out of me, though, was Allen Lazard.
He had a drop.
Well, he's Aaron Rodgers.
The man's middle name. I know, but the man's middle name is drop pass.
He had
And
one.
He had his drops. He had
He had
I
one.
think two. He had at
He had
least
two?
one. I like it.
This
I know he had
dude,
one on
this,
third down. He dropped.
this dude's got to. This dude probably averages 3-4 a game. I mean, this
Aaron
dude has
Rodgers.
quick hands.
And Roger Stills targets him, man.
But no, great game by Lazard last week. And honestly, if
Got
he
him in the
continue
waiver wire.
to perform like that, if he can, well, I didn't go from on the waiver wire because I don't think it's going to be consistent. But if he can be consistent and Breece Hall you just got to get the ball to Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much we want to talk about this prediction. It's the Washington Commanders hosting the New York Giants. Commanders are
It's
1.5
easy money.
point favorites in Landover.
Yeah, this is rookie quarterback, one middle of the road team, one bottom of the barrel team. Honestly, it's kind of insulting for Washington to only have them at -1.5. I'm taking. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I mean, it could be even a field goal, but Washington is definitely covering the spread on this one.
Yeah, me, Jake,
There's no doubt.
Chris, and Alan, Commanders win cover. That's all I'm gonna
Giants
say.
are not winning this game by one freaking point, man. Because Jaden Daniels will just start running the ball.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, if Washington starts getting in trouble, Jane Yale's just going to run the ball.
That's it.
and
There's
score.
no
I mean,
a
if
one
he can't,
point game
if
in
he can't
Washington.
complete passes, he's going to run the ball, and they'll drive down the field and he'll score like he did on Tampa.
That's it.
The only
That's
way
it.
he's able to score in Tampa is running the ball. It's the only way. And if he can't complete passes here, hopefully he does, because I have Scary Terry in fantasy, which he had a fucking awful game. But yeah, Washington easy.
all right. Surprisingly, the Arizona Cardinals are 1 point favorites at home in the desert over the Los Angeles Rams. Like Cam mentioned, no Puka Nacua, and the offensive line, they have some injuries as well. Doc, takes there.
Yeah, this was kind of a hard one for me because the Rams I thought played well against the Lions last week. I like the way that the defense looked without Aaron Donald, and then Kyler Murray coming out, the lack of Marvin Harrison. It kind of spelled what the Cardinals are in for this week. So I mean, based on how well the Rams played even without Puka, how well they stepped up to that Lions team, I think Washington will be a no-brainer. And again, not going to be a 1 point game. Rams will win by at least 2.
Yeah, me, Jake, Allen, and Chris have the Rams winning, which means they cover the spread. Very interested to see how the Cardinals bounce back, though. Since Kyler Murray said it's not his job to force feed Marvin Harrison, which makes no sense because you're the quarterback. The receiver can't get the ball unless you throw it.
Well, he's saying force feed, like he's still got to get open, which I agree with.
He had 3 targets, so he was open a lot. He's open on the last throw of the game that would have won the game. So I don't like Kyler Murray's attitude there. I could see this being a good high-scoring game. Good for Cooper Kupp, by the way, to have a good bounce-back game after last year's injuries plaguing him up. Yeah, the 4 of us got the Rams.
Yeah. Also have the Rams. I mean, I just trust Matthew Stafford more than I trust Kyler Murray to win games. I think the Rams played well last week, despite missing fucking half their offensive line and Puka going out in the middle of the game. I think Matthew Stafford's going to get the job done in Arizona.
Bengals, Chiefs in Arrowhead. Chiefs are 5 point favorites.
Yeah, this one again is going to be easy for me. I think Joe Burrow needs to come out and be the quarterback that I think he still has potential to be. I'm with you, Mark. This is going to be like my Joe Burrow decision year, probably. I think the potential is still there. The ceiling is still up there. And I think that this is a little early in the year for, the normal Joe Burrow midseason form to be able to produce against a team like this and a defense like this. So I'm going to take KC covering.
Yeah, I'm with you, Doc. The Chiefs are the best team in football until someone beats them when it matters in the playoffs. They have a scary offense. I'm going Chiefs to win, cover this game. Jake's got Chiefs winning and covering. Alan and Chris are together. They got Chiefs winning, but Bengals covering the spread. They are Joe Burrow, ride or die. So take that with you.
Of course, the Joe Burrow fanboys that would have that. I got Chiefs covering the spread here. A little more than just the spread. I think I had them at 6 points or a touchdown covering them. I think the defense for the Chiefs is not a defense that Joe Burrow's played against, just because they've had so much more talent since the last time Joe Burrow was actually healthy and played the Kansas City.
That's what I was saying earlier, yeah.
I know you always want to put up the Burrow stats against Kansas City, but he hasn't played Kansas City in a few seasons now, just
And this
because
is
he's always hurt
like you
every
said,
time
this
they
is
play.
a different Kansas City defense. This
Yeah.
is
I'm just
much
glad-
different than what we've seen.
Then
I'm just glad I don't
They have
fit
too much
in that.
speed. Too much speed on offense with
yeah.
Kansas City. Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL. It's not even debatable. They can go party on the weekends and come back and they'll go beat the Bengals. So they'll go to like the U.S. Open and have a great time on the weekends and come back and beat the Bengals.
I'm just glad that
let them win because they're back-to-back champions. And I mean, somebody's got to beat them and prove them, knock them off.
I'm just glad I don't fit in that Joe Burrow ride or dies anymore, the fanboy club. So I'm kind of glad I'm getting out of that clubhouse a little bit because
starting to fall out of it.
Apparently
distance
you
yourself
guys.
from Joe Burrow.
Well, apparently you guys. I'm a dick rider for Mahomes too, but I mean he's the best quarterback. That's just me speaking. He's the best quarterback.
No, you're a dick rider for the Lions.
Oh
You
yeah,
are a dick rider
I
for the
will. I'm a dick rider where I want them to win the Super Bowl if the Falcons don't, because the story is there. That's what I want.
I don't watch
Moving on
NFL
though,
stories, dude. I watch it for winners.
The Lions they're one of the best teams last year. If you watch football, they Final Four.
I know.
So.
I know. You just said story. That's why I thought. Moving on.
Moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Denver to face the Broncos, where the Steelers are 2.5 point favorites, and it's not going to be the Russell Wilson revenge game because it looks like it's Justin Fields going back out there, Doc.
Yeah, this Broncos team is in trouble. Bo Nix is not going to be able to save them this year. They lost Jerry Jeudy. Cortland Sutton isn't going to be enough. Javonte Williams, great back, but I think that there's still a lot of holes top to bottom in this Broncos team. I don't even think Justin Fields needs to do everything in this game. Justin Fields just got to get him across midfield, set up the field goal, and that is why I am taking the Steelers with the spread. I think they're going to win by a field goal.
Yeah, Steelers defense is going to be too much. I have them winning, covering the spread. So does Doc. And Allen has the Steelers winning with the Broncos covering. He's a 2-point game. And Chris is alone by himself on an island as he's trusting Bo Nix, his former coach, Sean Payton, to upset at home the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Remember, folks, we do not follow Chris on the spread.
And that's Chris just picking it because he's a Sean Payton fanboy. But the Steelers defense could be too much. Justin Fields is good enough, and their run game is good enough to get them over the 50-yard line, get them down to the 40 so they can make that 50-yard field goal. I have Steelers winning by 3 in this game, low-scoring game. Because they're going to – TJ Watt is going to eat Bo Nix up.
I wouldn't be surprised if
going to stop him.
I would be surprised if this is back-to-back weeks where the Steelers do not score a touchdown and win the game still.
That would not surprise me either.
So, moving on to Sunday Night Football, where the Chicago Bears are 6-point underdogs traveling to H-Town to face the Houston Texans. Doc, this is your team.
This is a tough one. This is a big spread that I don't like. This is a tough one, especially because the Bears defense can keep them to within 6. And if that offense shows up at all, it can be even closer. I am going to go Texans for the win, obviously. God damn, I don't know what to do here. I'm going to take the Bears covering.
Doc, I agree with you. I got the Texans winning. I think that it's at home. That's the main reason. But I'm telling you, deep down, I'm rooting for the Bears. I'm rooting for you and your sanity. I'm rooting to prove Riz wrong. I'd like to see the Bears actually be in the playoffs this year. I think it would be great for the NFL. But I have the Texans winning. I have the Bears covering the spread. Jake, Allen, and Chris have the Texans winning and covering the spread.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Texans winning, but I have the Bears covering the spread. I think their defense is good enough to hold C.J. Stroud at bay for a little bit, but I don't think the Bears' offense is quite ready to put the team on their back just yet. So I think the Texans edge it out, but under 6 points.
This is the thing too, and remember, we saw C.J. Stroud get held last year. You know what I mean? This is a situation where Caleb Williams doesn't need to do anything spectacular. He just needs to keep the game close. When we talk about the disparities in the defense, the Bears are a superior defense to the Houston Texans that can not only keep this game close, but can shut down C.J. Stroud. And this Texans defense being weaker by such a wide margin can open the door for Caleb Williams to take advantage and not only keep him within the spread, but even put him over the top.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears win this game somehow, but that all eyes will be in the Discord.
You did it last year?
My popcorn
Did we do
ready.
it last year?
I'm not sure. but I'm not sure if we beat the Texans. I don't remember.
I don't remember. That was one of the first games. I was in San Antonio for that one.
Moving on to Monday night, the end of the week 2, my Atlanta Falcons in a must-win, get-right game, traveling to the city of brotherly love, where the Eagles finally have a true home game, not Brazil no more, where they are 6.5-point favorites at home. If I'm the Eagles, by the way, boys, I'd wear the all-black jerseys because they look sick on a night game.
They do. They really do with that green outline. And a Monday night game, so they got an extra day to recover from the Brazil trip. Or an extra couple days, actually, because they played on Friday night, didn't they?
Well, it's essentially a 10-day, like how you play Thursday
Yeah.
Sunday.
So they got extra time to recover, which helps him coming back.
Yeah, mini bye.
I got to say, it pains me to say this because I want to be so high in the Falcons. I actually had them taken. I think I had them taking the division this year. I want to be so high on the Falcons, but there was so many problems with the offense last week that I need to see corrected before I can start getting on the Falcons, steady to be able to cover a spread like this against the Eagles. The defense, Eagles are stacked top to bottom. Minus Jason Kelce, this is a team that is
Center
has what it
last
takes.
week.
What's that?
The center did look good last week.
And that was my biggest thing coming into the season. I mean, all they did was improve on defense. They got what's his name at corner that they just took out of the draft.
Quinion Mitchell, and they have Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, so huge pickups for this team on defense, who looked really good last year. Mitchell looked really good last week in that game against the Packers. He had a couple of nice breakups, but this one, especially like we talked about earlier, in Philly at night in a primetime game. I've driven past the stadium and heard the atmosphere coming out of that stadium on a primetime game at night, and it's tough to even drive by, let alone play on that field. I can't imagine what that feels like. I'm going to take the Eagles by the spread, and I'm hoping as we continue to go through the season, I never have to take a team minus 6.5 over the Falcons because I don't think they'll ever be in this spot again. The Falcons have the tools. They got to show it. I still have a lot of worry about the receivers and Kyle Pitts at tight end. Drake London. Mark, we talked about it when you guys first got Drake London. I was jealous, and Kyle Pitts. I wanted both to go to Chicago. I think Kyle Pitts was before or the same year Cole Kmet.
He was 2021.
No, then it would have been Cole Kmet because Cole Kmet's on his second contract now. I don't know, but I was looking forward to both when they came into the league. And I know you and I have talked about it, but Drake London has just been one of the biggest misses for this team.
I'm still not blaming him, but
I'm not necessarily blaming him either. But now you've got a quarterback, right? So the excuse is gone. Kirk Cousins is a proven thrower of the football. All right, he's not a and we know Kirk Cousins in prime time, so we got to see what's going on. I know Kirk Cousins coming back from an injury, but Kirk Cousins we know is a bona fide, is going to get his 300-plus yards, going to get his touchdowns. We've seen it year after year with him. So it's time to see him get back into form, but I don't know if it's going to be this week, so I'm going to take the Eagles covering.
Shout out to you, Brenda Davis, she is my aunt. Let's go Atlanta. But if you're asking me to be non-biased and pick with my mind and not my heart,
pick with your wallet. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's what I'm betting with them. We do pick ones, but I'm going the Eagles, and I hate to say it. It pains me to say it, especially being stationed there at one point with you, Doc. I do not like the fans there. Some of the fans I get along with because they're actually good people. But
Eagles fans are atrocious. They are absolutely shit.
But it's just a dangerous play. Like I said earlier in the show, I don't give a shit what team you are. You could be the Chiefs. You could be the Ravens. You could be the Niners. Going into Philly at night, it's a scary place to play. It's not just your ordinary 1:00 game. It's a very, very tough place to play. And until I see something from Kirk Cousins in this pass protection, I'm not picking them, and at least not against these teams. So I'm going to go Philly winning and covering the spread. Jake has the Eagles winning, but Falcons covering the spread. Chris and Alan, so does Alan. Alan has Falcons covering the spread. Chris has the Eagles both ways.
Yeah, I'm with Chris and Doc on this. I think the Eagles cover the spread in this game. I mean, I think the Eagles just a much more talented team overall on offense and defense. I mean,
my God, what Saquon did last week.
I mean, the Falcons defense struggled with the Steelers offense last week. I mean, they didn't give up a touchdown, but they sure let them drive the ball down at least to the 40-yard line damn near every drive. So,
and Jake Elliott can make field goals too. So
yeah. So, I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
They're Falcons bend, but don't break. Defense is bending a little too much against the Steelers offense. But now this is a real offense that they're going against. That they're going to put the ball downfield, and they have Saquon Barkley running the ball. Then their defense. I mean, we've already talked about the defense. They have pretty stacked defense.
Huge
as
upgrade
well.
from Swift.
So, and Kirk Cousins shrinks in primetime games, so I don't expect too much from him. He looked bad last week. I don't know if he's fully recovered off his Achilles injury because he looked like he couldn't really plant his foot back and drive the ball downfield. So I don't think Kirk Cousins is quite ready.
And also, not just that, it's the fact that a lot of the times in Minnesota, he played under center. He only went under center a couple times. A lot of it was pistol formation.
Feed Bijan. That's your key to winning. Feed Bijan.
Yep.
And that right there, guys, is our predictions for the week. And like I said, good week so far with doing it. Not much college to talk about this week. Doc, good luck to your Florida State Seminoles as they host Memphis.
Same to y'all. Good luck to your teams.
Yep.
Yeah,
UCF starts Big 12 conference play this week. So
TCU
traveling down to Fort Worth. So usually UCF does pretty terrible on the road. So hopefully that changes this year.
As long as you beat Colorado, you're not the bottom of the barrel. You know what I'm saying?
We play Colorado at home at least, and we have a bye before that week, I think. So
Chris's team LSU.
Okay.
Chris's Tigers, they are a game day this week in South Carolina, an hour down where I live at, actually.
Game day pick, but I guess there's not really any big games.
This is a very weak.
No one wants to watch Boston College and Missouri at College Game Day, even though that's the only ranked matchup Saturday.
Yeah, this is not going to be, and that's going to be a walk in the park. Boston College is going to they're going to fall out of the top 50 after that game.
Yeah, the good games should start. Good games should start in the next couple of weeks.
I think
having some big games coming up. Yeah,
once
everybody's pretty much playing conference play.
Seems like week 3 every year is like the weakest. The weakest time.
Yeah.
I remember last year too. There were some good matchups week 1 and 2, and then week 3 was like, what the fuck are we watching?
Yeah, Texas has got UTSA, so I'm not sweating too much.
Oh, there's a nail biter for you.
Yeah,
careful, man. Appalachian State did it to Michigan.
Yeah,
hey, I will say,
a couple weeks in San Antonio. I might try to make it out to one of the UTSA games.
I will say, out of all of our teams, including Jake's, me, Jake, and Chris has actually played a ranked team out of conference so far. Start the season through 2 weeks. So I mean, just a little piece of note there, piece of mind.
We will not play a ranked team out of conference.
You will not know. You will not. But you will play ranked conference opponents down the road. You will do that.
We did last year.
Yes.
Florida State did last year.
We'll
play LSU.
We
whooped on them.
New year, new team. You know,
it is a new team.
New rankings too.
New rankings.
No, but Doc, I will say, for your sake, for Jones' sake, do not let Florida State lose this fucking game this week because Luke is ready to go.
Luke is ready to go. Game for Memphis. Norvell left Memphis high and dry. Memphis is a pretty good team, though. So, I mean, it's not a team to sleep on.
Doc, you know what Luke told me last weekend when the Texas-Michigan game was about to start? He said, I only watch Texas to talk shit and watch Arch Manning. And I was like, well, first off, before he said, and right now you guys aren't losing, so I can't talk much shit, so I need to see Arch. And then I was like, Luke, you watch all our teams just to be ready to talk shit. You're ready.
We all do it. We all do it.
Yeah,
though.
No, I do. I talk shit on UCF the same way. Lamar. I mean, I talk shit on Lamar because Lamar's cost me so much money.
It's funny. It's like so when the Florida State teams, like between Doc and Jones, Doc goes after Luke, Jones goes after Chris, like quick. Jones is quick to call LSU, and Doc's quick to call out UCF.
Well, I can't really go after LSU because LSU's a proven good football program.
Luke went after him last week about how they were barely.
UCF had 1 year. UCF had 1 year where they played good and didn't win a national championship.
Looks like Florida
State's they were good the year. They were good the year after McKenzie Milton.
Well, we actually have bona fide national championships, though.
Yeah, ours was more recently.
Well, no, you have to have one for it to be more recently.
They have rings.
Look, you can buy rings. You can buy. That's fine.
They have a
you
trophy.
Can buy trophies too.
Yeah.
It doesn't change shit. The schools pay for that trophy anyways. It's not given to them.
The only
flexible
time that I've
schedule.
actually like backed Luke with this is when we went to USF, and I was like, Luke, I'm rocking. I'm going to student section with you. I'm wearing black and gold. And the whole time someone said shit to us, I was like, yeah, listen, we're natty champs, bitch. I just kept saying it. I was like, I'm
Yeah, you
missing
would
these
do that.
fans.
You would
Oh
do
no,
that.
me and
Well,
Luke
that
were
was
fucking-
that was the next season though. That was
yeah, that was
2018
season.
Yeah, Mark just likes the drama.
Yeah.
no. Well, I mean, it's like when Luke went to the Gainesville with Chris. He wore purple and yellow. He rocked LSU colors. Just
Oh, if I go to a
buddy.
game with John, I
Yeah.
mean, other than
That's what I
my
did.
Mark,
Yeah, that's what I did.
Mark,
it was
you
in-
and
Yeah,
I-
regret that was a lot.
Doc,
That
it was
that
at USF. It was a rivalry weekend game. It was USF versus UCF in Raymond James, which is USF Stadium. We sat in the student section wearing black and gold. I
would
was
do the same.
yeah.
I did the same shit. I would if it weren't for the Yankees playing the White Sox, I probably would have gotten a Yankees jersey. But they were
Yeah, I
playing my
mean-
team. I can't do that.
That's what I do too. Like I told Luke, I was like, I'm only going to do it tonight because like after today, I'm not rocking UCF. But hey, I was in Tampa the whole time, acting like a UCF fan for.
You
just,
should go to
just
Chicago
for-
and rock black and gold.
I'm good. To go there first. I've never been to Chicago, but boys, great episode. Good luck to your teams. I know all eyes will be on the Bears this Sunday night, Florida State Saturday.
At least one of our teams will win. Luke.
What was that? Well, college.
Luke.
We'll win
No, I'm
college.
talking about NFL. I'm talking about NFL.
Okay, yeah, NFL. Yeah, NFL.
Yeah, our team's his the only one that'll win this week.
Yep. But no, great
Hopefully.
episode, guys. Can't wait to be in the Discord chats talking football starting tomorrow night. Bills Dolphins. So that'll be the first topic tomorrow. But guys, hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope to see you guys back Tuesday and Wednesday. Like I said, good luck to every team out there. We'll see y'all next week.